This is going to be a review for our Ravenloft Touch of Death adventure. This was session 1. We are using second edition Ravenloft module, and we're using it with Old School Essentials RPG. We have 3 players, and they're all from very different backgrounds. That's the cool thing about Ravenloft, is you can be from anywhere because the mist will pull you in. So we have Malara. She is a female elf from Eversky in the Forgotten Realms. I think I pronounced that right. And she's played by my friend Chris. We have Brunor, who is a dwarven cleric from Cragheim in the Taldori setting. And then you have my character is Sir Roland Lambert, and he is actually from Earth, and he was a knight of the Crusade on his way to try to fight the Holy War and free Jerusalem from the Turks, and he got sucked into the mist. So, which is really kind of an interesting character to play, like in a fantasy setting, a character that's actually from our world. So, and he is a human, obviously, because he's from our world, but he's a paladin, and that'll play out a little bit later in the session. So we're sucked into the mists. I started off on a ship on my way to the Holy Land, and then it filled with mists, and then next thing I know, we're in a desert, and that was similar to all of our entrances. When the mists clear and we come out in like a sandstorm, and it's just like sand for as far as the eye can see. We end up eventually meeting up with each other and do some quick introductions and decide to move on with each other and travel with each other. And as we're traveling, we're all kitted up, so we have all of our armor and equipment on, and we start succumbing to the heat slowly, one by one, and eventually we all succumb to the heat, and it's just something that's unavoidable. So we decide to rest for the night. There's no shelter anywhere. It's just sand. So we make some makeshift shelter out of like we strip off our armor if we're wearing it, like Brunor's character and Sir Roland Lambert is wearing, and we, put shields up and then lay our, whatever cloth we have over them to kind of get some shade. And we hunker down during the day, we decide, and travel. We're going to travel at night, and that's what we do. We wait until night. So we do that. We're able to rest and recover from the heat, and we start moving on. And we eventually come across, we're attacked by these, we start finding bodies in the sand, buried in the sandstorm. One of them's a family, which was kind of sad. And then other bodies, and then we keep exploring and keep finding like these lumps, and then one of them, or some of them actually, not one, there were several, burst open, and these giant scorpions come out. And I think what was interesting about this was I had to roll our first fear check. That's a thing in Ravenloft. My character failed, everybody else passed. I started to run away, but I was grabbed by a scorpion and its pincer, so I wasn't able to get too far. What was interesting though is before that all happened, Matt, my friend Matt, who's running the game, he rolled his very first attack roll, and again, I think it was not the very first roll of the game, but very first attack roll of the game, and he rolls a natural 20. And why that's significant is because Matt has previously run a Ravenloft module for us, and I didn't do recaps of these. I should have, but I didn't. And in the very first roll of the game, no other rolls at all, we're in a swamp, we're on this raft, and we get attacked by a crocodile. And he attacks my character. In the very first roll of the game, he rolls a natural 20. And in that game, we were using Castle of Crusades, so we used the critical hit chart on there, and he rolls on that, and he gets ×4 damage. Literally just kills my character in the very first roll of the game. There's no way I survived a ×4 damage crit from a crocodile. So my first level paladin He just was no more. It was awesome. It was like the fastest death ever in an RPG game, at least in any that I've played in. And it really set the tone for the rest of the game. So, and it's also part of the reason I decided to play a paladin this time around, is because we didn't really get a shot at having one in Ravenloft in the last game. So he rolls in at 20. Doesn't do nearly as much damage though. And then we start fighting. And eventually we defeat all these scorpions. And actually Bruno went down in this battle. And this is where I said earlier, like playing a paladin came into play. Like my character, I started the game, I'm a knight. You know, in his mind, he's a knight. He's not a paladin. He's a follower of God and all that stuff. But he is he's not like a magical being. He doesn't know what magic is. It's just like fairy tale stuff to him. So, but Bruno goes down. So he runs over. At the end of the battle, my character runs over and puts his hands on Bruno's chest, and he's just praying. He's just praying to, his God to not take Bruno from them, because they need him. You know, they need his help. And then, this healing glow comes from his hands, and he's able to heal Bruno's wounds as he dumps his lay on hands into him. And that's how we narratively explained that he has healing powers. It's just this, maybe this land has changed him. He's not sure. He doesn't know, in character, he doesn't know how it works. And that's why actually I decided when I did it, I was just going to dump all the points I had, which isn't a lot on my first level, but he dumps them all in there because he wouldn't know how to control it, right? He doesn't even know really what's happening. Like, this is something very different to him. So he brings them back. But that's how we explained it. It's made playing him very fun, because he's not from a fantasy realm. He's from our world. So it's really interesting take. I've never played a character like that before, so it's really fun. We after that battle, we march until dawn. We actually harvest some of the meat, because it's provisions. Go on, Maddie. You'll see my cat here in a second. I usually don't film up here, but I didn't need a whole table for it, so I'm in their domain, or they're curious about what I'm doing. So we march for the rest of the night. We harvest some of the meat because, one, it provides food, and it has water content to it, so we're concerned about that. We end up making camp, and then during camp we get attacked by a pack of wild dogs. That wasn't too difficult of a battle. We took care of that pretty quick. And then we just rested for the remainder of the day. And then we move on. As we move on into the night, Melora, she starts to hear voices. What are you doing? Be on the camera. And she hears voices talking in common. So none of us are super stealthy. Melora is probably the only one that could actually really pull it off. So we go up and talk to them. We see these people. There's a woman and several men, and they have a wagon with horses, and they're stuck in the sand. So we approach and start talking to them. The woman, her name is Madame Delsame Bodani, and the men are her brothers, and the brothers are Sergi, Marius, Antonio, Enrico, and Dominic. And they don't look friendly to us at all. The Madame Delsame, she is, and we help get their wagon unstuck, and she lets us travel with them. And we, as we're traveling, this rolling wall of dust and sand comes towards us. And prior to this, she had told us, some history of them. They're the Vistani, and that they have the powers to travel the mist. We asked them, hey, could you, take us back to where we need to, out of here? And they're like, yeah, of course we will. She says that the men don't want to help us. Hey, get down. Trying to get into the shelf full of miniatures. Get out of that. They don't want to help us at all, but she is the leader of the family, and she says that they're going to do it. So we're traveling with them, and we run into a sandstorm and basically we can't pass, and they're like, we can't pass either, we have to turn back, like this is preventing us from going anywhere. So as we're returning back, we she does a card reading, a Taroka deck card reading for us, and this was pretty cool because Matt had props for this, and that was something he really does well in his games. He has props, so like he lays out the cards and stuff for us so we can see, and she starts talking about things, and my character's kind of confused by it all, like he doesn't really understand it, but talks about how the fourth day is important, that we need to look for the sign of the sixth and seek the king of the desert for the final answer. The one thing that she does say that stands out, at least to me as a character, is that we need to find the High Sekosa Scroll. And High Sekosa Scroll, the way I understand it, is named after a rare male Vistani that also had the sight, which is rare in the male Vistani. We also learned that we are in the land of Har Akir, and there's a village called Muhar that we're going to head towards. Go on, you. I know you want to be on the camera too. But so we need to head that way, which sounds great to us because we've been stuck in this desert. So anything's better than being stuck in the desert. Jackson, hey buddy, look out. This is a quality video here. You're getting the cat family. So we're headed that way. As we're going along, we find this parchment in the sand, and we pull it out, and I think it was Bruno that pulled it out of the sand, and this severed hand comes out with it. It still has its skin on it. It's got like dark skin, but like all the moisture's been sucked out of it, so it's like right, stuck to the bone and probably paper thin. It looks like the hand was bitten off, and the bite marks we are able to determine look human. So a bit of a mystery. And that's where we ended the session. We are going to be playing this, for the next, until we're done. It's a module. The High Sekosa Scrolls are interesting because in the previous adventure we played different characters. We didn't play these characters. That scroll was also mentioned in that adventure. So there's definitely something going on with that, and we will need to find it, and so we can figure out what's going on here. And I think that will, from the little bit of out of game chatter I've had with Matt, I think that's something that's going to take place over several adventures, but I could be wrong. It's a bit of a mystery. I'm a big fan of Ravenloft. I've run a little bit, like I ran Curse of Strahd which I kind of inserted into my homebrew campaign. My last 5e campaign I ran Curse of Strahd, and that was kind of how we actually finished out that campaign. But other than that, I've never, in the one adventure I played that Matt ran previously, I've never played in Ravenloft. I'm a big fan of Ravenloft. I have these 3rd edition books that I've had forever. I have a bunch of 2nd edition stuff. I have more of the 3e stuff. Big fan of the setting, just never got a chance to use it myself. So I'm looking forward to more time in Ravenloft and playing it. Old School Essentials is, so far, we've only played one session, but it's a solid game. Excuse me. One of the reasons we switched to Old School Essentials is, in general, there was some chatter about doing it within the group. But Cast Crusade is a great system. I don't think it worked that well as written for Ravenloft, because Cast Crusades, the way the saving throws work, where they're tied to your attributes, we really took a lot of punishment in that, using that system, playing old school Ravenloft with fear and horror checks, because those are based off charisma. None of us, we weren't really thinking ahead, I guess. None of us had charisma as a prime, which would have made the saves easier. If you're familiar with Cast Crusade, you'll understand that. So we got really slayed with like fear and horror checks. They were really hard to pass, and so we decided to go with Old School Essentials for this system, for this adventure, and I think that's going to be the right choice. So we'll see how it shakes out. I'll try to do another one of these. We got another session coming up this week, so we'll see what happens. I appreciate you all watching, and I'll catch you at the next one.